Now, let's put something up on the board. It was when we think about this whole life, we want to think about right things for right reasons, right things for wrong reasons, and wrong things for wrong reasons. All the uptight people will make it into a chart. You'll like it. Is that a nice chart? And this will lead us to the discussion on deficiency motives and being motives. They're very important. What would be one right thing? What's a right thing? Can anyone think of a right thing? Let people cut in front of you on the freeway, right? And what would be the right reason to do that? You love people. If he's in a hurry, go ahead. If you're not in a hurry and you need some power so you won't do porn, go ahead. You save some porn freak, right? When you get home, you say, Heavenly Father. So, this is called a being motive. What's a motive? It's a reason for doing something. A being motive. It's the right reason to do something. Let's define a being motive. It means to celebrate your being, which is your spirit self, your real self, the little child that came from Heavenly Father and Mother to be in an earth school for 80 years, and beat up the negative so he won't die dumb. Cool, right? That's your real self. The student in the earth school is the being. What we used to call in the 60s and 70s the authentic self. Real self, the being. He's the student. Beating up negatives, yourself and others, is the lessons of life. So what's more important, the student or the lessons? The student, right? Is man made for the Sabbath, or is the Sabbath made for man? Sabbath is made for man. Man's the king and woman, and they're the students in the earth school. The negative self, the powers of negatives, the lies, the evil, they're the learning devices. So there's the being motive. That's why it's so important to know your real self and feel your own real feelings. So those are right things. Being motives, right reasons. Now, can you do a right thing but for a wrong reason? And what's the wrong reason? Deficiency motive. What's a deficiency? A deficiency of identity or of love. Remember in the old days we used to draw these love buckets? Here's a love bucket. This person's full of love, and he wants or she wants to share from her fullness, right? This is a person without very much love and a hole in her bucket. This person is empty, and she wants to take from the world, from people on the freeway, from friends, from children, from spouses. And they often do right things, like a pleaser, to buy love. So they give in order to get. People say, oh, you're wrong on this, Dr. Ellsworth. I don't do porn because my mom never hugged me, like a lot of the other guys. Oh yeah, let's talk about that. When you finish these sentences, my mom hugged me because she needed love supplies from me. So she gave in order to get. So she did the right thing, but for the wrong reason. There used to be an old saying, I think Goethe, Goethe. This above all, the greatest treason, to do the right thing, but for the wrong reason. Now, so it's great to do the right things, but wrong reason. Deficiency motive, empty love bucket, takers, right? And then you can do the wrong thing for the wrong reason. And, you know, people always want to add another category to this. You know what it is? Yeah, wrong thing for right reason. It's impossible, because if it's the right reason, it's the wrong thing. It's the right thing. Well, how about murdering somebody in war? Right? That's a right thing if you are defending your own self in that. So, wrong thing, wrong reason. This would be deficiency motive also. This would be negative self. This is negative self, but it doesn't look like it, does it? This is perfume over garbage. You got to watch out. And this is empty love bucket too, isn't it? Okay, do those pictures help you? That's a good thing to think about as you look at your expectations. And remember that the deficiency is of your own identity. I don't know myself. And a love, not enough love. So this is a love bucket and an identity bucket. Yes?
Is it possible to be doing something and not know the reason?
Yeah, it's possible, and it's common and frequent. But the deeper you are, the more you'll know them.
What? Is there sometimes where this doesn't matter? I mean, like on trivial things, like on everyday.
Yeah. You can worry yourself to death about this. But at least let's start with the big things, and pretty soon you'll know them all. And is it possible to mix these up? Yes. Remember, all these kinds of charts should have mostly at the top. How many do the right thing for the right reasons 100% of the time? No hands. And Peggy, if you raise your hand, then we would quote that wonderful poem. This above all, let's see, no, I need this. The greatest sin is to be conscious of none. So you say, well, how many people are up here in number one? Mostly. How many want to be up here? Mostly. Okay. How many are in number two? A lot. Okay. How many live in number three? None of them. They're outside. They won't even come to this. So think about that. Being motives, deficiency motives. Now, here's the way you can tell a deficiency motive. I'm going to just rip off some words, and these are wrong things that will show clearly a deficiency motive. Takers, compulsive behavior, right? And if you want a list of these, turn your love supplies chart over on the back, and you'll see a research where they were able to isolate all the kinds of things that ruin people. But I have a little list here. Compulsive behavior. Why is compulsive behavior negative? Because it's fear-based. Is that true? OCD, panic attacks, anxiety attacks, phobias are fear-based. Uptight, that's nervous. Being in charge, I'm the master. Being a master is good instead of a victim, but you're the master of yourself, you're not the master of others, because then you violate their free agency. Being competitive, being jealous, that's fear-based. Someone will have more than you and take you away from you. Arguing instead of empathy. Performance equals worth. Winning, compete. Appearance equals worth. Performance equals worth. Instead of worth equals those things. Competitive. Is all competition wicked and evil? No. It's okay to compete as long as you don't let it hook up to your worth. Winning. When you win, you don't earn worth and hate that losers. You say, hey, we played our best. That was cool. But it's just a dumb game. Silent treatment. Violence. Those are two opposites, aren't they? Overs and unders. Inappropriate sexual behavior, where sex becomes a love substitute when it should really be a sacred power used to express the mystic bond with one person at a time. Rigid. That's the rigid with the expectations rigid. Shy. What's with shy? Shy is a humiliation phobia. How many people have ever been shy? It's humiliation phobia. And it's a survival skill. You shut up and no one will beat you up, right? Critical, overly critical, being a victim. Martyr. What's martyr? A pity party. That's poor me. Guilt induction. Rescuer. What's with rescuing? It's giving in order to get. Lots of people marry to rescue. Caretaker, rescuer. I'll make him be good. Doesn't usually work. Low self-esteem, of course. Repression. Dependent reactors, procrastinators. What's procrastinate? It's fear of failure. It always has two causes: rebellion or fear of failure. Procrastinate. We'll talk about that later too. Afraid of closeness. Why are people afraid of closeness? They'll get hurt. Where did they learn that if you get too close to another person, you could be hurt? From all the other monkeys, right? Yes. They could, yeah, and they don't want to know that because they live with a shiny cover or an unshiny cover. People that are too serious, People with extreme loyalty, and they won't wake up and say, hey, wait, that guy's a bum. All we wanted was a friendly divorce. I mean, yeah, that's like a friendly murder. Immediate gratification. Remember the guy that went around, I think it was 40, 50 years ago, and he offered the little kids in the old days when you could hardly ever get a marshmallow, and he said, I will give you 1 marshmallow today, or if you can wait, next week I'll give you 2 marshmallows. And then he followed the kids who could wait for 37 years. And guess what he found out? The kids that could wait, who were in charge of their thoughts and feelings. They had much better lives. Happier, richer, success. So can your kids wait, or do they need immediate gratification? Scream, yell, okay, here. You wait. And that brain, pre-research brain, if you'll wait, your brain will switch up if you give it a chance to a higher brain. So immediate gratification. Now, those are the love-starved people. And the impatience usually signifies doubt. Patience comes from certainty. Impatience comes from doubt. Is that right? Anybody impatient? Go back into your childhood and you'll see, did I have a hard time getting my needs met when I was little? Yeah. So I want a marshmallow now because, a bird in the hand is better than 2 in the bush tomorrow. One might fly away. So isn't that great? So there's some good descriptions of negative games and survival skills. Okay? So codependency cannot generate good feelings from within because you're getting them from without. Great. Now let's take a little break, and when you come back, we'll do rules for being